it's Jedi Joey. Welcome back to another video. And today, we will be talking about Superman and Lois episode 1 through 3. Now, this is the final season of Superman and Lois, so stakes are higher than ever. In fact, spoiler alert, Superman is basically dead after we start the first episode of this. So we're going to write down each of the 3 episodes, but this show's always been fantastic and near and dear to my heart, and it's the show that made me fall in love with Superman in the first place. So, let's get into it. So the first episode, we kick off immediately where we left off. You see Superman battle it out with Doomsday in this glorious, and even though people said there'd be budget cuts, they did this gloriously. You could feel the tension was rising. You could see just everything coming together in the most beautiful, amazing way, and you could see I just loved it. Just seeing everything the way it played out, it was genius. I mean, seeing Doomsday and Superman face off, and then Superman gets killed by Doomsday. Doomsday ends up being sewn back to Earth to deliver the heart to Lex Luthor. And Lex Luthor is absolutely ruthless in this show. Michael Kablitz, who played Abraham on The Walking Dead, does an amazing job. It is truly being one of the most menacing Lex we've ever seen. So then this episode really shows, the family struggling with his death, and you see Jordan really trying to get the heart back, but Lois is warning the boys, you can't trust Lex Luthor, and sure enough, Lex Luthor tricks him, and really, you start this first episode with seeing basically General Lane being buried alive, and then has interesting tension with with Mercy Graves, who actually ended up being secretly working for Lex Luthor instead of dating General Lane, so that was kind of tough. But I liked seeing this side of it. We had to save him. The boys were struggling with everything. Lois was struggling. Lois has gone through so much. It's so crazy in the show. She survived cancer. She's now lost her husband. So she's dealing with everything. She's trying to do everything to take the fight to Lex Luthor because Lex Luthor is threatening her. And so he buys his hotel. And so she's trying to do everything she can to prevent him to be in Smallville and be a maniac. And so we see in the first episode, Lex really puts the squeeze on Jonathan, and then he really just on Jordan, and it really just escalates to a level that is just uncomfortable for everyone. And I think that was incredible. So I'm going to give episode 1, I got to give it a 9.4 out of 10. It's fantastic. Then we move into episode 2, and we kind of push further into, we're seeing the aftermath of Superman. You see him as a holographic form, and you really it makes you tear up. Superman dying here, it was beautiful. She published her article about Superman being dead, and the people couldn't count on him anymore, and it was breathtakingly sad, but there was some emotion that this show can invoke. Like, I was teary-eyed throughout this entire first 3 episodes, which just is amazing, and I just loved every minute of it. I thought they did a brilliant job, and they delivered on all fronts. It was brilliant. I mean, this episode really dived deep in the aftermath. You really saw what the boys and what Lois was going through, and they failed to get the heart. Jordan was hurt. Jonathan was trying everything he could. But he's trying to just strike a balance with who he is and how find his place in the world. And I'm really liking the acting here is really good. Even Jordan tried to get his basic aunt or his grandmother to try and revive Superman, which is why they needed a heart, but they haven't been able to procure one, which has been tough. So then we go into the next episode, and this is the 3rd episode. We discover that, so this episode 2, I'm going to give a 9.5 out of 10. It's another great episode. I really loved it. And then we had an episode 3, and this is the best of the 3 by far. We get to see Doomsday back. He fights John Henry Irons and his daughter, codename Steel and Stardust, and they both pull off or Starlight, I should say, and they pull off an amazing showdown against Doomsday, but they lose epically, and General Lane ends up sacrificing himself, which is an emotional moment. We see the boys, they kind of have a funeral for Superman and also for General Lane. And then they bring the human heart of General Lane to the Fortress of Solitude, and we end this episode after all the crazy Lex Luthor plans and shenanigans and everything builds up. We get to see Superman come back to life, setting up our 4th episode. It's super cool seeing Jonathan finally getting powers and where that leads. This episode, this episode was absolutely amazing. I loved it. It was emotional. We'll miss General Lane, so I gotta give it a 9.7 out of 10. What did you guys think about these Superman and Lois episodes? Are you liking Superman and Lois? Well, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.
Woo!